Alright then, looks like we're live. Hello there everyone, and welcome to another SRB2 character replay stream. I've described what we're doing in these streams a couple of times now. 5,000 subscriber special is on the way, and I want to reacquaint myself with all of these characters before we get to that point. So, in today's episode, we're hopefully going to cover 5 characters. Some of them quite a bit bulkier than I thought they would be. We have Tails Doll, Kamek, Greeneyes, Pac-Man, and N64 Mario. We're not going to cover N64 Luigi or Metal Knuckles. I haven't actually played N64 Luigi beforehand, so he's probably not going to be in the ranking. And then Metal Knuckles is his own separate character that we'll be covering later. So why don't we start with N64 Mario? Now, I haven't actually played Mario 64 before. I've never owned an N64 for that matter. So I don't really know how he plays or how accurate he is based on anything more than the description he has. So things he has are a custom health pool. As you can see, seen at the top, it plays differently than the usual ring system. It's, I believe you can take 4 hits and then it regenerates as we collect coins, obviously replace some rings. He has the triple jump, which increases our jump height if we jump in quick succession. He has a crouch and a roll, like that. From what I can gather, it's a bit more spontaneous than, what's it called? The true, accurate N64 Mario would be, which is by no means a bad thing. He has, I don't even know what that was. He has a lunge, I believe this one is called. Like basically a horizontal attack. Almost a thock, I suppose you might call it. He has a lot of abilities, to be honest, so I'm just having to try and remember them. He has, I believe, for custom 1. No? Maybe I'm pressing. Yeah, there you go. He has an attack string on custom 1, which is perhaps a little bit unnecessary because, I mean, this is SRB2. You can only really attack a single enemy at any given time, so it's a bit pointless, but there we are. If you press spin in the air, he does a ground pound, and then of course you can react outside to that. What else does he have? A double jump's just a dive, so that's not hugely interesting. Yes, tap in L2 while tap and spin while moving. Is supposed to have a separate thing. You might have to go and just correct me, but is the chat actually working for you guys? On my OBS screen, it's saying for some reason that the chat is disabled for this live stream, and I haven't disabled it. I haven't done anything that might cause it to be disabled, so I don't know why it's putting that up. Oof, very quick. Now, fighting bosses, I don't really know what he has. He's supposed to have a somersault, but I can't quite remember how you're supposed to trigger that. I think you do have to hit the top of enemies. I don't think you're damaging from below. I mean, you'd assume so, seeing as this is Mario. But then it looks like you can also dive into them, and that's damaging from the start. Sublimize, hello there. Oh, right over. Graceful in its own way, but not quite what we're going for. So yeah, there's definitely abilities that I'm not showing off because there's just so many of them that I'm just not activating them when I'm trying to. There's so many different commands. Custom 2. What does Custom 2 do? Custom 3? Yeah, it looks like the only custom button, and this is something that I am glad about. The only custom button looks like it's custom 1. Everything else is some combination of jump and spin, which is what I prefer. I play on gamepad, so when people start throwing in fire and fire normal and toss flag and all the rest of that, that gets a little bit hectic. There's not really space to fit it all in on a gamepad. I wish the dive was a little bit more... I wish the dive was a little bit... It had like a area above the ground where it wouldn't trigger, because if you're in any point above the ground, then it can dive. But there are points where I'm right next to the ground. I'm just like, I don't really want to. If I remember, I believe it's when he's skidding that you do the scythe. Yeah, you do the somersault. That's how you do that one. I think it's just a higher jump, to be honest. Not quite how I meant to get away from the buzz, but it'll work. Now, unfortunately, I can't actually show this guy off in Pipe Towers because that uses an unedited version of the Mario theme, and therefore the stream would get hit with a copyright claim. But I can show you off the rest of the game. There we go. He's fun to play, I'll be honest, with these Mavericks, because he's definitely a Maverick. It is always a bit of a question whether they're actually going to be fun to play. Just because, again, if you're a character who plays completely unlike an SRB2 character, then you're not built for the game. It can be a little bit awkward of the transition. Sometimes it doesn't work all of that naturally. Like, it's impressive what they've managed to do, but in terms of actually playing it, it's not actually that fun. But no, he's feeling pretty good. I think the decision to change how he plays from being a genuinely accurate version of Mario 64, but more so just the idea of the game, is probably to the mod's benefit. You can do stuff like that. Where you go around. There we are. Oof. Right, we'll go this way. Not quite doing what I want him to do, but there we are. It looks like we might have been crushed there, but I suppose that doesn't matter if you're Mario. So that's to our benefit. I'll take the speed snooze. Let's see. Ah, see, that would be a point where it would be really handy if I hadn't dived. But no, unfortunately not. The wall jumping is a little bit awkward. You know, obviously I made it part of the character, but it's a little bit iffy. But then, to be fair, that's the problem with basically every SRB2 character. I can't remember many that actually feel all of that natural. Wall jumping. He slides off very quickly from a wall jump, I think might be the problem. The triple jump's also a bit iffy, but there's clearly like a rule to it that I'm not following all that closely. Again, I think the only Mario game I've really played, like Mario platformer, is Mario Odyssey, so I don't know much about playing accurately with him. So things like the triple jump are a bit of a mystery to me. I have played a little bit of Mario Galaxy, technically, but as the, Mario Galaxy 2 technically, but only as the second player pointer thing, so probably not that applicable of an experience to this. Oof. Nice to see a good, not overpowered character. I'm not entirely sure I agree with you, Mr. Zandex. He seems pretty overpowered to me. Maybe the fact that you do have to work a little bit for it kind of hides that, but he's definitely somewhat overpowered. I don't think that's very debatable. It looks like your health also does not recover between levels. So we'll have to try with that. Oh yes, swimming as well. That's something he can do. So we have, from what I can gather, you can start swimming just by pressing jump while in water. And then from there, oh, we're a little too close. And then from there you get one air jump, one swim jump and one swim dive. And that's effectively how you maneuver any further beyond that. So, of course, we're swimming here, but we press L2. I kind of assumed he would like go down, but no. No. How do I go down? Right. Okay. Custom 1 cuts it off. There you go. It looks like the swim drill thing is actually taking you up. Just takes you to the side, effectively. Right, let's... So why can't I attach to the wall? Yeah. Wall jumping's, as you can see, a little bit off. I'm not quite getting it, and then when I do, I just fall off immediately, so who knows what's going on. There we go. You have a little bit of time once you've done a ground pound where you can get a big jump from it. You also don't have to be pressing the spin button when you hit the ground. You can also, while you're still stuck in the grounded sitting down pose, you can then press L2 and you'll roll that way. So you do have a little bit of control over it. There we go. Health bars appeared. The time, the time part of the heads-up display seems a little big. Again, haven't played Mario 64, so I don't know whether that is actually accurately sized, but it seems huge. Well, whatever I did there, that was very impressive. Didn't really mean any of it, but there we go. It looks cool. Rule of cool and all that. Right, let's see. If we just swim, do a couple of drills. Do we drain our health faster? Is that going to be the trade-off? Yeah, you only get one swim jump per use. You then have to be grounded again before that is regenerated, so that's a little bit difficult. See, because he'll grip onto it and then just give up. It's like, what? Why did you do that? It's definitely somewhat based on speed. Obviously based on speed. But specifically how, a little bit harder to figure out. There we go. Does Mario even drown? Sort of. He drains his health over time while in water, and then it's regenerated once he leaves it. So obviously, if you end up running out of all your health, then yeah, he sort of does drown, but not in as traditional a sense as most characters. Again, he is a maverick, so that is to be expected. You unfortunately can't really react while ground pounding. So like you can't ground pound cancel, ground pound cancel, if that makes sense. Which is a bit of a shame. That could have been interesting tech. But again, maybe that's really out there for Mario 64. So as much as it isn't an exact replica, I don't want to do it. Oof. Lots of custom sprites, obviously, if you've been paying attention. Like he has them. He has a very well animated like ending. This last thing, which is good. Lots of in between frames there. But also just everywhere else as well. Lots and lots of frames. So lots of very smooth animations. It's a good looking character. He's a bit plasticky, but then to be fair, Mario 64 also is quite a plasticky game. And I think this is more based on ads or something for it, more so than the game itself. Aaron Imposter, Mario's the speedster? No, 100% he's a maverick. And then, does he have a super form? Yes, he does, and we're about to go and activate it. Get all emeralds. Let's just give a set for all of the rings. And then, I believe it's custom 3. There you go. He can go Metal Mario. I'm not quite sure how he changes, beyond obviously just being invincible, and I'm assuming the usual speeds to things. I don't know whether he's like a genuinely different character in metal form, or whether it's just a more appropriate, character-appropriate version of the super form. I don't know whether he is supposed to be materially different to the usual super form like this. Whoa, what did I hit? I think I hit the invisible wall there. Right, let's see. You can't, unfortunately, you can't do anything out of the, You can't do anything out of the springs, like launcher things, which is a bit odd. A lot of characters you can do. Right. There we go. Ugh. Right, I'm really messing this up. I'm trying to do a ground pound spin thing, and it did not go well anytime I tried it. So yeah, I think Metal Mario is just a reskin of the super form. I don't think it's materially different in the way that, say, Trip's super form as a recently relevant super form based on the Rouge review. In the same way that that's different to the norm, I think it is just the usual faster, invincible, different color thing. Just obviously because it's Mario, it's a bit strange to go for just a Super Mario, so you might as well find something appropriate to the character. Though of course Super Mario is, in its own way, kind of appropriate. See, so, like, I could do some cool things, maybe, if I could actually grip onto these walls for any length of time, but you just can't. I don't know what the idea is. It feels a bit strange. It feels like Mario's designed to be wall jumping a lot, because obviously that's something he does quite a bit, but he just can't. It's so finicky. And I think that is a little bit just the game, more so than the character. Like, every person who can wall climb in SRB2, it's usually pretty clunky, just because the collision isn't really built for it. Anything more interesting than Knuckles' wall climb, but even so, it feels bad. It feels a bit bad. Right, well, there we go. Lots of custom sound effects as well. Some might argue too much, too many, or at least he's pulling them out too often. It is a bit of a cavalcade. Ooh, just about got through there. Oh no, I messed that up. I messed that up real bad. I mean, sort of saved it, but you don't really have to have this diversion. It keeps throwing me off that I can't react out of these. Like every other character can. So I wonder why he's the only... Oh, actually, he's not even the only exception. Like, certain moves are the exception. But then I just did his dive, and that worked. So I wonder what's going on. Maybe it's the game only allows double jump abilities. Maybe that's it. Like, it assumes, obviously, because none of the vanilla characters really have secondary abilities in the way a lot of modded characters do. Get over those quickly. Oh! Messed that up, pressed the wrong button. Meant to spin there. It really does feel like you should be able to cancel your, like, ground pound into something. Again, I don't know whether that's something that you can actually do in Mario 64, but it feels so, like it would be so natural in this that I find it hard to believe that you can't. There we go. Oh! Sometimes the momentum can be a little bit off. That's one of my complaints. Does he take 4 damage? Is that what's going on? Like, he's kind of making oof noises, and like... Is that him, like, taking 4 damage? There you go. Like, wall jumping does work, but you need to be very quick with it. Right, I am just going to try and... We're going to beat this boss, and then I think with these future streams, we're going to speed them up, if that makes sense. So we're going to try and cover more characters, but then each character has less individual time. Because this isn't like the first time playing characters. It's more just to refresh myself with them. So I don't really need a huge amount of time with each of them. I think I'm giving characters a bit too much time. I think it'd be better if we can cover more of them in an individual stream. I'm also planning to do more streams than I have been doing the last couple of weeks. Or more regular streams than I have been having the last couple of weeks. Over the next 3. Because I got some time off. So... Well, we'll see whether that materializes. I keep making promises about here's when I'm planning to do stuff, here's when I'm going to get this video out, and I Not particularly good at keeping to them at the moment, so I'll say that I'm planning to be releasing videos more often, or to be streaming more often, but whether that ends up materializing, who knows. Luckily, it's easy enough to jump around the egg robos. And the arena gives us plenty of space to triple jump around. Make it all the way over to Eggman very quickly. Boom. Seems you can lunge at a wall to wall kick. You can lunge at walls and it will do the wall kick, but that's apparently got the same effect as just jumping into it. So I'm not quite sure what changes that. Sorry if the volume's just cut out. I'm trying to get my live chat working, at least on my side. If you can see each other, that's fine, but it's not turning up for me. There we go. Yep, everything's visible for me now. So sorry if you guys were watching the stream there up until this point and there's just not been any live chat in the corner. That wasn't the intent, and that wasn't a strange artistic choice. Right, we'll finish Arid Canyon and then we'll move on to the next character. But so far, N64 Mario, a lot more fun than I remember him being. I think, again, I played him fairly early on, and I think I might have just been a bit overwhelmed by all of the movesets and the buttons and just the sheer amount of stuff you could do. But it's coming in quite naturally, so I don't think it's as much of a problem as I might have made it out to be in the past. Whoa, okay. I mean, his combat string does seem a little bit pointless, just because it's not really any opportunity for you to use it, but, you know, there we are. This example. Right, and we'll go Metal Mario, because why not? Oh yeah, no, one thing he can do, which we'll see, it's a good... There you go. It's a good thing we'll get to Arid Canyon Act 2 with the minecarts, because it'll come in handy there. But he can break through obstacles with his punch. Oh, I messed that up big time. Okay, so that might work. You might be able to just wall jump across the canyon if we can get enough speed to start with. Because it really is just, if you can get speed to start with, you can kind of carry that quite easily. Not quite the direction I plan to go, but there we are. We survived. I'm frankly just amazed we didn't get fired off into empty space. Right, and I don't... He's not great at picking up that much height. Or like, height to a crazy degree, so we're probably just safer to take the ropes to this point. Ruby Red, hey, how's it going? It's going pretty well. N64 Mario's a lot stronger than I remember him being, so that's a fun surprise. Right, if you roll into these, yes, I believe it should be powered up, so there we go. And of course it does effectively work as a roll attack, so you can just roll into anything. Or use it to get up walls pretty easily. Oh, sorry, there is something in my throat. Not quite sure what, but it's making me choke up a little bit. Oof, jumped over it. It still annoys me to this day how the dead Banniks are introduced in Act 1. How come? They seem pretty harmless in Act 1. Not quite sure why them being introduced there's a problem. Whoa, okay, nearly slid off there. But we finally got to a minecart, and look at this. Boom. Don't need to worry about them. We can skip the sections entirely. Which is great, because it gets a bit boring when you've got however many characters and you're sat there replaying this one specific area of Arid Canyon over and over and over again. You can play around with it a bit. Boom. Right, we'll beat Fang and then we'll move on to the next guy. Who do we go? Do we go with the other 3D platformer mascot and Pac-Man, or do we go for the other Mario character and do Kamek? I think Kamek's the second most complicated character we have today, so it might be worthwhile just getting him out of the way as well, because he's pretty maximalist. And then maybe Greeneyes after that, because again, he's also pretty maximalist. Just, you know, a lot on. When that maybe doesn't have to be. So just punched him. I don't know what I was doing. Oof. I'm messing this up. I'm messing up real bad. Got him. Oh well, that was stupid of me. I don't know why I did that. That was provably not a good idea to stand right in front of a bunch of bombs. Oh, dude. He probably plays fine against Fang. I'm just getting impatient and trying to beat him quickly, and it's not working to our benefit. You need to take things slowly with him. There you go. Again, I'm keep defaulting to like sliding into him. That works if you're rolling, but you can't just press L2 once and leave it at that. You have to commit effectively. I'm not going to go for you while you're up there. Bad idea all around, I'm sure. Right, come on. Oh, you got your popgun out. Okay. Well, wait a moment. Blow yourself up, that's fine. Right, and we'll walk up slowly and side smash you. I can't remember what the smash means. Is it down B? Side smash? I can't quite remember. There we go. Alright, well that was strong. N64 Mario was a lot better than I remember him being. So, that was a good first impression. I think we'll do Kamek next. And he's a character that I remember being stronger than N64 Mario, but he is quite maximalist, so we'll see whether that still applies. Well, yeah, you can see just on that. We have jump, spin, spin 2, spin and jump, air customs, custom 1, custom 2, custom 3, and then the fire buttons and toss flag. It's a lot, and I don't even know if I have it all mapped. If we press R2, we can summon his broomstick, which gives us a certain amount of flight. It feels like it should be infinite, but it's not. It looks like you slowly descend the entire time you're using as well. It's not like straight. But you can kind of like push yourself forward using the custom buttons. So there's that. Yeah, not a huge fan of the fact that it's going down the entire time. That feels a bit strange. Like when you have a button dedicated to going down anyway, it feels a bit arbitrary to have it then go down the entire time anyway. GKS72 says hello, good to see you. The Thokin with Custom 2 doesn't seem to be that powerful. It's not putting us forward that quickly. Right, what else can he do? So pressing Custom 1 shrinks us. Custom 2... Okay, Custom 3 summons the Rollout Rock at any time. So we can do this, for example. Custom... There we go. Custom 2 makes you giant. For a very, very limited time. I thought it was slightly longer than that. But no, it seems it's very limited. And I believe it resets until you take damage the next time, I believe. I can't quite remember what they said. I think Custom 1's pretty much unlimited. Or like you can use it again very quickly. And Custom 3 I assume is much the same. But going giant I know isn't. Okay, sorry, it might just be that custom using Gigantism while tiny grows you up, so that was using up the charges. I think that was why I wasn't triggering. Okay, so let's see, what buttons do I have mapped? That's just another custom button, isn't it? Alright, so the custom buttons, of course, are mapped. Oh, that's cool. You can make a giant rollout rock. If you don't want to pick up any springs, any rings. Right. What do I have the fire button? Fire buttons mapped? Let's see. Oh, no substance. Fire buttons, let's see. Is that going to be... Oh, I've messed this up now. Definitely not that button. It's joystick 5 and 6. It's joystick 5 and 6. I've got the fire buttons mapped to, and I can't remember what that is on the PlayStation controller. I thought it was... Oh, can you please... There you go. Get it disattached. I thought it was R1 and L1, but it's not. Let's see if I just map them to the D-pad for now. I match that to that. Hat left. I map that to that, and that to that. That should give us everything. So if we then, in weather mode, we can then change the weather by using the different fire buttons, I believe. Let's see, we are in space, so I think we need the fire next for it to work. So player 1 controls, control configuration, next weapon, and we'll just stick that on D-pad down for now. So that, nope, that's the fire button. That's fireball. You can throw out fireballs. And then, there we go. You can see that we can change the weather now. So we can make it raining, snowing. Very heavy rain, maybe? So that's rain. And then press it again, and it looks like it's still raining. But now there's noises, so maybe it's like heavy rain. And then it turns off. But the thing is... The only thing I think it changes, apart from the skyboxes, it doesn't work here because we're in space, but if we change it to snowing, that'll change our fireballs to be ice balls now. Now let's see how far these can go. No. Straight into the void. Right. There we go. He can also teleport. That's something I forgot to mention. I believe it's hold L2 and then yes, press R2 and it'll teleport. It's apparently a bit buggy and doesn't work all that great anyway. But we'll see. He's a very technical character, very maximalist, and I'm not the best of those sorts, just because I play on controller. Most of them aren't built for that. Most of them are very much built for keyboard and mouse. And Kamek is very much included in that. But it is a pretty powerful teleport. From what I can gather, it can go through walls and all the rest of that. So it can be very effective if we can just find a place to use it. Let's see here. Ah, if you can get it to go through instead of just hitting the top, that would have been great. Can you kind of like worm your way around the side completely? Yes, you can, except it does get too thin at one point, so you can't actually get your hitbox all of the way through. I'm not quite sure what the, like, duh, duh, duh noise is. I assume there's like a timer on your broomstick, but it's a very generous timer if it is. There is supposed to be a way to get off the broomstick. They say it's L1, sorry, it's jump and spin at the same time, but it's not really working. Right, get you out early this time. There we go. A strange character, to be fair. A very strange character. Very interesting one. Maybe a maverick, but he isn't really replicating a specific game, so who knows? Maybe a flyer, a very unique flyer. The moveset is a little complicated, but the sprites are really good. Oh yeah, undoubtedly. The sprites are very strong. The sound effects as well are pretty good. Right, let's try teleporting through here. The teleporting is pretty robust, to be fair. Like, we can teleport through that. Don't need to worry about that. And then, yeah, a little bit awkward sometimes, but there we go. We can... No, we don't want to go all the way up. I have tried that in the past, but unfortunately it doesn't actually let you skip that much of the level. It just stops you in your tracks. The doors don't open. Like, you haven't... There's triggers in the game, and you miss those. You don't get all of the triggers you need. Right, I believe that that's the sign that you're good to continue. Once that's been crossed, I believe that's the trigger to open... Yes, open the door. Right, I believe mini form basically acts as the mini mushroom in Mario. So I believe it's you're faster, your jumps are floatier. I believe that's what the mini form does. Then of course you can just turn it off whenever you need. Yes, very nice sprites. Much as I'm not a huge fan of any Mario designs, I find them all to be a bit boring. But they are good sprites, to be fair. I don't think they're ripped from anything either, as much as they're not like the SRB2 house style. I don't believe they're ripped, so that's good. Did I really run out of lives? Oh, I'm not doing all that again. No chance. Straight to Black Core. I'm not going through all of Egg Rock Act 2 again. I've already done it. Unsurprisingly though, very slow. I'm fairly certain supposed to be an old guy. I'm assuming Kamek's supposed to be old, seeing as he's Bowser's effective father. Yeah, it looks like there is a time limit on the broom, but instead of just like disappearing like I assumed it would, it just forces you to the ground effectively. It grounds you automatically. You can't stop moving away from it. Okay. Ah, I nearly got through them all. Ah, yeah, no, you do definitely eventually reach a point where you just can't move any further forward. Kelly Mountain, hot dang, those sprites rock. Yes, they are very good looking. Though he does seem to just use ripped artwork for the life icon, which isn't a bad thing, but it is a bit strange when everything else looks so good. Right, how far does this magic go? Because it creates like a whole earth-shaking effect, so it feels like it should go miles, but looks like the range is actually pretty tiny. Fireballs. You gonna be affected by fireballs? No. Great. You're also not affected by magic saves either, which is a problem. See? Boom. Magic saves. Have at thee. Not doing anything though. Those do though. That's good. Sometimes. There we go. We'll very slowly get him down. Very slowly wheel him down. Oh dear. Oh, got him. There we are. Is that Kamek, Wolf Games Official asks? Yes, it is. I can't quite remember the creator off the top of my head. Is it Mott the Spork? Or is that Greeneyes? I think that might be Greeneyes. Or Pac-Man, maybe? I can't remember who the creator is, but yes, it is a Kamek mod for SRB2. Maybe let's not do this. Let's try him against someone who's a little bit more typical. And then, I wonder if Metal was tested for this mod or not. I think it's just the fact that Metal's always a bit weird if your character can't get a damaging hitbox. Like, you know, even Amy and the like can struggle to an extent. But when you have no option of getting a damaging hitbox at all and you're entirely reliant on projectiles, that probably causes some problems. Oh, yeah, the other problem is that he is sometimes one hit, sometimes dies in one hit, and then other times just doesn't. Not quite sure what triggers it, but like sometimes he'll die to a single attack, and other times he just takes off. Can you step in it, please? Get in the acid. Oh my god, dude. Get in there. No. There we go. No, that's the weather. Maybe it's like hitting enemies. It's the difference between hitting enemies and hitting attacks, I guess, maybe. But no, that also stopped us. Oh, I don't know. It is a bit annoying. I don't even know what hit me there. Like, that fire didn't touch me. Let's see. Well, let us see what the weather does here. Right, we can make it snow. Let's just make it rain. Oh, I've messed that up. Ooh, not trying that hard here, to be honest, but yes. Right, dude, just get over here. Let's go into some extra levels. Well, I think we've gathered that he's not very good at fighting bosses. Let's try. I would again. Pipe Towers, easy choice, but I'd get copyright struck if I played it. So we'll do Forest Fortress instead. Just so we can look at changing the weather a bit. So weather mode. Can stop it raining. Make it snow instead. Instead of raining. There are some hitboxes, I think. Sorry, some skyboxes that you can change the actual time of day and stuff. Or at least he has functionality for that. If you've got a modded level, maybe. Can't do it here, but I think it might work on Castle Eggman. I think that's the one I tested it on when I reviewed Kamek, and I think it worked there. It doesn't, other than the snow area changing your type of your projectile. So it's now an ice board, which I don't think actually has any functional difference, but it looks different. I don't think any of the weather effects actually affect Kamek. I think it is just a visual thing, but it is a very cool one, so I don't think anyone can complain. You couldn't slap on a music mod to replace a more copyright-friendly track. I mean, conceivably I could, I just don't have one. I don't have a music mod. That's probably something I need to look into. Yeah, for the next stream I'll look into that. That is a very good point. I can just, you know, download music that plays over it. Stick some speed suits on. Lots of custom sound effects, but no custom music though. A bit strange. Alright. We'll go check Castle Eggman quickly. Just to check, because I am fairly certain that that's the level that did let you change the actual time of day and stuff. So we'll get up to a good vantage point up here. We'll look out into the distance, change to weather mode. Okay then, not Castle Eggman either. We'll try Green Flower Mountain and then we'll call it that. If that doesn't work, then I'll just accept that it's not a vanilla implementation. Yeah, you can make it rain, but yes. Okay, well, there you go. That's Kamek. An interesting character. Very maximalist, but then, to be fair, a lot of it's not actually important. Like, a lot of it's projectiles that seem to act identically to one another. Or near identically. Identical in the vast majority of use cases, then. So, as much as he is maximalist, in terms of the sheer number of buttons he uses, most of it's pretty irrelevant or redundant. So it's not too bad to play. And then, of course, it's all weather effect as well, which is pointless. It doesn't do anything. So yeah, a strong character. Not my favourite. I'm probably not going to return to him all that often outside of these videos. But certainly fun to just to try out, if nothing else. The shrinking and growing's perhaps a bit underutilized. but that's neither here nor there. So yeah, there you go. That's Kamek done. Who's next? No, not record attack. Back into extras mode. Level select, Green Fire Mountain. Tails Doll, Greeneyes, Pac. Let's do Greeneyes. There's a lot of stuff here. I think he's based on an old mod from before SRB2 2.2. I don't know whether it's like SRB2 1. Whatever, or whether it's SRB2 2.1. But I mean, like, look at him. He's clearly not based on modern SRB2 characters. Bit awkward, but there we go. Right, so R2 is your Thok / a homing attack. Always gets me. Those little bridge things. They always get me every time. L2, I believe he has like a curl uncurl, they described it as. So like you can curl up and then uncurl. I don't know whether, we'll see whether we can do that in the air, that'd be useful. No. I mean, to be honest, that's a lot more useful in the air than it is on the ground. It's a bit strange to put it on the ground, but then not the air. So yeah, there's all of that. There is... I feel like it probably has a ground pound. Yes, there you go. Custom 2 is your ground pound. And then you might have noticed that bar in the corner. That is your heat bar, and by pressing custom 3 you can activate it to at the very least speed you up. Beyond that, I'm not quite sure. Again, it's all on the message boards, but there's a lot of them. And especially playing with 2 other pretty involved characters today, I've got a lot of abilities jumping in my mind. I can't quite remember where and who they're all attached to. There we go. So yeah, kinda nominally based on Adventure Sonic, I suppose. Or maybe it's like a combination Adventure Sonic, modern Sonic. But from, again, early days of SRB2. Or at least earlier days. He does also have a strife button, which is designed to let you avoid attacks. So, like, for example... Or, for example, boom. Which feels pretty satisfying. Apparently he's very good in boss fights, if you're using him correctly. Greeneyes is the first character with Lua script for SRB2, made back in 2.1, but improved in 2.2. So he's a very important character then. The more you know. He's more than just a old version of Adventure Modern Sonic. He is a very important character in mod development history then. Interesting. Good to know. Thank you, KS. Glide KS. Oof. It does feel a bit strange that his stomp is just that. It is just a stomp. Like, if it's based on Adventure Sonic, it probably should be a bounce, but there you go. Is what it is. Right. If someone, in that case, Glide, if you do know how it works. Yeah, if you know how it all works then, can you just describe to the chat what the heat mode does? Beyond just speed you up. That'd be very useful to know. Oh, love it when you get stuck in the chemicals. That's always fun. I'm sometimes just going into boost mode and it doesn't even feel like I'm going that fast when I do. Oh, I'm doing really poorly. I'm not really feeling it today, as you might have gathered. Between the fairly unenthusiastic commentary and the very poor gameplay, I'm not really feeling that great at the moment. I was out very late last night, so just, I think, a little bit tired from that. Right, yeah. Message board says collecting rings fills the heat gate. Yeah, I know that much. Once it's full, pressing custom 3 will allow Greeneyes to feel the heat, which sharply raises his stats for a short period of time. This can be extended by collecting more rings. Okay, so it's nothing specific then. It is just a stat boost. I was just making sure I wasn't missing anything. Right, we'll go this way. Not sure whether we'll get there, seeing as we're lacking the speed shoes, but there we go. Yes, unfortunately, we didn't get up there. But maybe we can try with heat mode. Ah, stopped by the door. There we go. The effect does seem a little bit strange. It doesn't quite look like I remember it looking on the message board, so I wonder whether it might be maybe glitched or something. It's very bright. Oof. I seem to be magnetically attracted to this goop on this stage. It's a bit annoying. Can I get up there, please? Yes, here's the lift. Here's not the lift. Am I just stuck down here now? Oh, fine. Fine. I could probably deal with the spring cells and use them, but I don't really want to bother going to the effort for all of that. So, we'll just go the short way. The slower bottom route. I mean, where's this music from? Is this adventure? Doesn't remind me of any Speed Sneakers theme I've heard before. Oh yeah, no, I got a little bit of adventure there. And then it cuts out kind of awkwardly. Ugh. From Sonic Heroes, there you go. That's where I heard it. There's like a little riff that I remembered from one of those older Sonic games. The Sonic games around that period. I was like, where is that from? Which one is that? Can't drop multiple times, it looks like. Oh yeah, you can. But there is a little bit of a timer on it. So you can't do it over and over and over again. Thanks, Spring Cell. That's great of you. The heat gauge does drain very quickly though, so just collecting rings is not going to keep it topped up by itself unless you're in like a very specific area. It's just slightly delays it running out. It's not going to keep it going for ages. Oh, again, sorry guys for being a bit unenthused this time. I'm just really tired. It does seem like it goes up by itself anyway, the heat gauge. It's just rings speed it up a little bit more. Right, well that's quick, but there we are. Yeah, the sprites, as you can see, aren't that good, but if they're based on an older character, it makes sense. You know, kind of keep it similar especially if it's an important character from the past. You do want to keep it kind of similar, kind of familiar, for historical accuracy. Right, well, we're not making it up there because he is a speedster, I reckon. I'm reckoning speedster. Yeah, so he doesn't have the maneuverability to get up there. So I have to go the long way around. I can probably be using heat mode a little bit more than I am. Like, it charges up pretty quickly, especially if you are collecting rings. Whoa! Not really how you're supposed to get up there, but it worked. Aw, come on. Oh, there's a little sound effect when you reach that. 2.1 Sonic, huh? Kind of. It's Greeneyes, apparently from 2.1, as you can see. Different. Does indeed have green eyes. Not lying about the name. Whoa, okay. The thock is a bit strange in terms of how much momentum you're getting. It seems a bit all over the place. And height as well. Oh, this homing attack's doing me in. Stop homing! Ooh, that was close. A lot closer than it should have been. Yeah, so pros. Interesting character. Not really loving him though. I'm not finding much to like, to be honest. Like as an incarnation of modern Sonic, presumably. There's a lot stronger choices in the modern day for you to pick from. So it does feel like you're probably playing him for his role in SRB2 history more than you are as a incarnation of modern Sonic or Adventure Sonic or whatever he is supposed to be. But whatever he is supposed to be, there's better regardless. Either you got Blue Blur's, is it Blue Blur? Domakoto? Whoever it is, you've got their modern Sonic, and then of course you have Golden Sign, no, Metal Wario? Metal Wario's Adventure Sonic, I want to say. I think it's Metal Wario. So yeah, there are better choices for both characters he might be representing out there nowadays. So fun enough, but not like rushing to pick him. Right, I think we're gonna call it. Oh, right. We will check for a super form before we go. We'll go into JackalMan, check a super form, and then I think we're gonna speed through Pac-Man and Tails Doll because I really need to go to bed. It wasn't too bad when I started the stream, but I'm losing more and more energy by the minute. So yeah. Well, we'll get a JackalMan. We'll check for the super form, and then Pac-Man and Tails Doll very quick. They are the simplest characters though, so it shouldn't be too much we're missing. Ugh. There we go. Did he homing attack the missile? Is that what happened? Right. Chaos Emeralds, let's see. Pandora's box, get all emeralds. Oh, and then of course get ourselves some rings. Don't just... That's not all of it. Yes, he does indeed have a super form. Once again, bit ugly, bit fugly. But it's fitting the character. And yes, it's definitely Heroes Sonic then. Because we're getting What I'm Made Of playing. A really good song, to be honest. I think I might prefer it over even like Live and Learn. I think there are better versions of Live and Learn, but if you're just looking at the original one, I think I prefer What I'm Made Of over it. I do find it funny that when it reappeared in Sonic XL Generations, it's like completely unchanged. I can't really tell the difference between the two. They're so similar. But for good reason, because it's a good song. I keep forgetting he has a double jump because it's not mapped to, you know, double jump. It's mapped to custom 1 for some reason. Whoa, early got up there. Not wrong over that. What I'm Made Of will be in Sonic 4. You saw it here first. Good point. I mean, there was that teaser a couple of days ago. Was it yesterday? Yes, it was yesterday. That didn't really reveal anything, to be honest, outside of maybe the fact that there's a time travel plot. Again, I'm fogging up, to be honest, so I can't quite remember what was in the teaser. I think I remember it kind of teasing a time travel plot line. And then obviously there's been the concept art we've seen and all the rest of that, so... It's a bit of a strange choice to make Amy the time-traveling hedgehog, especially because I don't think they're going to reveal Silver in the same movie. But maybe it'll work. They're going to do something with time stones because of that. But, yeah. Have you seen the cast list that they announced for it a couple of days ago as well? Like Matt Berry. Who was it? Matt Berry's the one that I've seen everyone be like, what the hell? Matt Berry. I mean, I think basically everyone from previous films, other than I don't think Sado's returning because I don't remember seeing anyone talk about Keanu Reeves there. So unless they recast him, I don't think Sado's returning in Sonic 4. Ah, that was really smooth. Who were the other two that people were like, oh, they're going to be our chaotix? Because they're all just like, how could these possibly fit in a Sonic movie? Oh, Ritsu Dioardi, that was it. I think I saw someone say that he was in it. Who was the other one? Matt Berry, Ritsu Dioardi, and then there was some other one that people were like, maybe they're SBO. As a joke. It'll be a mixture of CD and Heroes. I think that is probably a safe bet. I'm really curious what like Matt Berry could be playing. He has such a distinctive voice and I can't see him fitting as a single like Sonic cast member. Except maybe Big as like a joke. Or like some like Froggy, because obviously that was the one that I saw. It was the two particularly like funny cast choices. The one that I can't remember. People were like joking that one of them's Big, and then Matt Berry's gonna be Froggy, except only Big can hear him. So it was like a post-credits thing, like post-credit joke or something. I can't remember who the other like funny cast choice was. I'll go and check it out at the end of the stream when we do the roulette wheel. Oof. Get on you guys. Well, I was going to say that worked out to our advantage, but we just fell back down anyway, so not really. Oh, just get me out of here. Get me out of here. Oh, you don't even boost the springs when you ground pound on them. What's even the point? It's like the easiest slam dunk way to get your abilities to power up springs, being able to ground pound on them. Ben Kingsley, that was it. That was the other, like, what the hell? Who could Ben Kingsley possibly be playing in Sonic 4? Which Sonic character could Ben Kingsley possibly be playing? I mean, obviously, there's the possibility that he's, like, a human character, but even so, like, what? How does Ben Kingsley fit into Sonic 4? Yes. So it was Ben Kingsley, it was Matt Berry, and Richard Dio. I think I'm sure Richard Ayoade was one of them. I've seen his name be thrown around less often, but it was in that one tweet that everyone was like, "What the hell is this cast list?" And it was him, Berry, and Kingsley. So I think he is there. And again, I think people were joking that they're the Chaotix just because they're just such weird choices. Like, the three of them. They're like, oh, well, maybe they're the Chaotix, because what other trios are there? They're not going to be Team Dark. Ooh, I wonder whether Omega, if it is a Heroes adaptation, I wonder whether Omega might turn up. That's something I want to see. I want to see what they would do with Omega. As much as it is without Shadow, so, like, you know, you do miss a little bit of that dynamic there, but just, I'm curious. I want to know what they would do with him. I saw some people complaining that when Crossroads came up, that they had made him too comedic, and it was like, what are you talking about? That's Omega's entire thing. He's a comedic relief character. A very angry, violent comedic relief character. So yeah. Right, Pac-Man then. Let's do Pac-Man. Not gonna lie, I really want to see them find a way to make Gamma Omega in the same place. That would be interesting. I don't love Gamma as much as I do Omega, but it would be interesting just to see the dynamic of the two. One character that we're probably not going to see in Sonic Movie 4, though, is Pac-Man. I somehow doubt that he's going to make an appearance. But he's a pretty simple character as well. If I remember correctly, it's basically the butt bounce, the spin dash, which we'll see in just a moment. Oh, the taunts. That was one thing that Mario did have. He had a bunch of taunts and I didn't show them off. But yes, we can also spin dash, or rev charge, or whatever they're calling it. Which functions kinda like a spin attack, apparently. Except you can end it very quickly. So there's that difference there. But I'll be honest, I think that's it. Don't think he has anything on any of the custom buttons. I don't think he's got any fire abilities. I thought he had like a different health system, but unless that's like a pack-on, an additional extra you need to get, I'm not seeing it come up, so that might be a second thing you need to get. Oh yeah, and you can't roll. So yeah, you can do it an unlimited number of times. You can just bounce through entire levels, and they'll get progressively more powerful until you hit your third bounce, at which point they'll remain consistent. Oh, that's it. He does have an in-air attack. That was his other ability. So, here we are. If we... There you go. He has like an axe kick sort of thing. That is a meaty sound effect. I was watching a couple of amateur films recently. Like an amateur film festival near me. I think there were 7 films there. Most of them were pretty crap. The guy who I had gone to see the films of, who was one of my friends, his were pretty good. But there was everyone else, my god. There's like one about alcoholism. That was pretty good, but it was so overacted. People were overacting it. But the reason I bring it up is because there was one that was about like 2 people meeting on a bench and then one of them dying, and you know, like then they kept sharing the bench and all the rest of that with a group of other people. So it was like you know, keep the guy's memory alive. But the sound effects in that were so overdone. Like they sounded like they had just been ripped from YouTube sound effects. They were so loud in comparison to the music. It was a silent film, so there wasn't any dialogue. But just the sound effects were so overdone. They barely even matched what characters were doing. It's like someone... Oh, he can also grip ledges, apparently. But yeah, like a character would be... like barely opening a paper bag and it'd be like Russell, Russell, Russell. It was crazy. I don't know what they were thinking. Seeing as, again, according to the guy I was asking, they had a fair amount of time to do it as well. So I really don't know what they were doing. There we go. Aaron Imposter, his main gimmick is bouncing. Yep. That's the majority of what you're going to be doing with him. He can technically... yeah, basically he can spin dash and he's got a bounce. That's kind of it. So not a hugely impressive moveset, in all honesty. But he can grip ledges, which is kind of cool. Haven't played the Pac-Man World games either. I think they might be in my backlog, so eventually we'll be doing a playthrough of them. Maybe, if they are in my backlog. I think they are. I'll have to go check that as well. But yeah, eventually we'll get around to that, and we might be able to say like, were they any good? But yeah, if this is all you can do in those games, they seem to be a pretty dull. Must be a pretty dull set of platformers. I see a load of people like glazing them. I'm not really seeing it if this is kinda what they're like. Maybe it's the level design. Obviously with level design that's properly suited to the characters, it's probably a little bit stronger. But otherwise, I'm not seeing it. He is a fun character though. I admit that I'm no huge fan of Pac-Man. Like, to be honest, my only real exposure with him is the Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures series. Because that was on TV a lot. But like, in the actual character, my only other knowledge of him comes from Smash Bros. Because one of my friends played as him quite a bit. They would play as Mii Fighter and then Pac-Man. So I saw quite a bit of him there. But beyond that, I haven't played any of his games. But he's an interesting character. He feels like he's kind of out of time, you know? Like this feels like a video game character that shouldn't be running around in the modern day. Like he doesn't feel like a modern video game character at all. In a way that Mario and Sonic and all of the other characters that were around at the time. They don't feel like they're 40 years old plus in some cases. But like Pac-Man, yeah. This doesn't feel like a modern character. For better or for worse, I think that's kind of interesting. But, you know, other people maybe have other opinions. While his playstyle is simple, I wouldn't see myself playing Pac-Man's character particularly often. Yeah, it is a bit dull, to be honest. It's not the most exciting gameplay out there, to be honest. I think we'll do this one stage of Deep Sea because we're here now, and then I think we'll do Arid Canyon because that feels like it matches Pac-Man's personality to an extent. Oh, and of course we need to check his super form. That as well. So yeah, we'll do this one stage and then we'll check his super form in Arid Canyon. Because I don't know whether he has one. I didn't check. I think we breached the water there, so we should be safe to continue going. A funny character, I think. In terms of placing him in a category, an archetype, I'm not sure. Nope, that will select, get all emeralds, get loads of rings. Let's see. Yes, he does have a super form. The more you know. What changes here then? Does it just have more powerful bounces, I assume? I mean, it kind of looks like it. It doesn't seem like he's doing that much more. Yeah, no new abilities from the looks of it. Just an overall stat boost, mostly. A pretty big stat boost, mind you. Very strong stat boost. I like how practically every single Pac-Man theme kind of sounds the same because they're obviously just basing it off the one thing they had for ages. That one theme from 1980, and it's just been reused in a million different ways. I think that's interesting. Again, I think Pac-Man's interesting just because it's one of these old mascot characters being used in the modern day in such a different way to all of the way everyone else is used. Like in terms of, they didn't like give him extra musical themes. They didn't like give him like some super crazy story with a ton of characters. They just kind of stuck to the original like Pac-Man formula of there's Pac-Man and there's ghosts and there's this one theme that plays a lot. I think that's just interesting to me. Yeah, we're not getting up there. Super though you may be, Pac-Man, I think you're just going to have to take the ropes. Oh, that's a cool death animation. I don't remember this guy doing all that in the arcade game. Well, that's what you'd like to think. His walking animations from behind are pretty funny though. Just big yellow circle, gloves, and massive boots. Massive boots. You can just barely see his eyebrows, kinda just barely breaking the silhouette. But only like 2 or 3 pixels. Funny design. I wonder when they came up with it. I haven't checked. Like when did they come up with this Pac-Man design? Like how long have they been using it? Are there like classic versus modern Pac-Man fans in the same way there are classic versus modern Sonic fans? Is that a thing? I've even started seeing like those groups for Mario. Like, come on, dude. You can't be saying like this period of Mario's history is really good. This period of Mario's history is really bad. It's all just good. It's Mario. He has barely any bad games, and he's been around for 4 years. Well, got down here eventually. I really struggled with this area the first time I played it, but then it's just really easy nowadays. Whoa! I kinda missed one of the stomps and then ended up in the pit. That's what happened there. Right, we'll finish this and then we'll go. There's a series called Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures. Yeah. I remember hearing something about how Sakurai hated that design so much that he made like a big fuss about if they had forced him to use that design, that he wasn't going to stick him in Permanent Smash. He would have pulled out of the contract. Which, to be fair, I kind of liked it at the time, but nowadays I'm looking at them I'm like, oh yeah, no, 100% this design's better. This design, the one they use in Smash and all of the Pac-Man World games, and here, yeah, no, that's way better than the Ghostly Adventures one. It's very much like the whole Sonic Boom thing. It was a thing for a while that like all of the old kids platformer games were getting rebooted, and they were all bad. Like even Mega Man kind of had it with Mighty Number 9. Like Mighty... Like, obviously, that isn't official, but it is the original developer, original creator of Mega Man, kind of making a new game that's just Mega Man, and it looks really bad. And there was that Mega Man Overcharged, or Overclocked, or whatever it's called, TV show, but that was a little bit later than the rest of them in that kind of period, so maybe that doesn't count quite as much. But with that, let's test out this final character. Let's test out Tails Doll, who's probably the most ordinary of all of the characters we're going to see today. So his gimmick is that he doesn't have a jump. He kind of has this like fast fall. He has this like... It's hard to describe it, but rather than like jumping, he's just kind of raised up upwards. If that makes sense. And then you can kind of slow fall using that. And then on top of that, because he's obviously the Tails version of Metal Sonic, horrifying though he is, he also has a version of his Black Shield, but I think it's, you know, it's red. I think it's just called the Crimson Shield or something like that. It gives him protection and also destroys enemies, but I think it cuts his momentum, or like it cuts... I thought it cut your, like, control, but it's not really doing that. I think the most impressive thing is probably the the sprites, because obviously they've managed to do basically a ragdoll with a bunch of 2D sprites, and that's really impressive. Like one of those how do they do it moments. But he is pretty good, to be honest. I believe he can break breakable floors and walls and stuff. You can even use both abilities at the same time, so you can raise up and also use the shield at the same time. But yeah, I think as much as he is a fun character, I think the big thing is the sprites. think that's the bit that everyone knows him for. And then it's Metal Knuckles, who's also in the same character pack. That's the one everyone thinks of when you think like gameplay. As much as I actually prefer this guy's gameplay. Can he reflect attacks? Yes, he can. That's the other thing you can do with the shield. You can reflect attacks back at the opponent. So if they're hitting you with a projectile, boom. One thing I'm not a huge fan of though, design-wise, is how floppy his hair is. Like, looking directly ahead, it's a bit off. Like from that angle, or straight in front of you. I'm not a huge fan of that. I think it could just be a little more perky. Kind of overpowered, yeah he is. It's pretty powerful. Not like to a crazy degree, but he is. Definitely, he breaks the games to an extent. I also find the jump a lot more natural to use, despite being so strange, than a charge jump is. Charge jumps really screw with me. I don't know what it is. But yeah, this, on the other hand, not so much. What's this way? Can just slow glide over, so it's no trouble for us. Ah, nearly got it. But yeah, we can just glide for ages with him. Oh, dropped the red shield just at the wrong time. Oh, messed it up. Alright, I think we're going to do JackalMan and Red Volcano, and then we're going to call it quits for today, because I'm so tired. Yeah, strong. I think I might put him down as a flyer, but I think generally speaking I need to better clarify what the difference between a flyer and an explorer is for that to make sense. Like, I have my reasons for thinking that, despite. Oh, that's something I need to do. I need to check like breakable objects. That might. I was about to say that might affect that actually. If he is able to break them and all the rest of that, then yeah, no, he probably is an explorer. But if he can't, then yeah, no, I can put him down as a flyer. It is a little bit of a shame that you can't rise up from falling off a cliff or whatever. You can only do that if you're grounded. So like for example, I can rise here, but if I was to run off that, then you see that I just kind of drop, which is a bit of a shame, but that's not a huge problem, to be honest. That's just something you get used to pretty quickly. Ugh. And I just... Oh no, he's not quite got the height to be able to just leave. Is he immune to spikes? Or is it just he hovers over them? Actually no, we'll do JackalMan and then we'll do Black Core 1 and 2. because I think it'll be interesting to beat a Metal Sonic with him. Seeing as we are, again, effectively Tails' equivalent to a Metal Sonic. Right, we will be trying out our super form, though. Let's see. Does he have one? No. No, he doesn't. The most unique character so far, I guess. I don't know. I think he's probably the most normal, actually. Like, as much as he is unique in terms of sprites and all the rest of that, in terms of gameplay, he is probably the most... Apart from maybe Pac-Man. Pac-Man's pretty normal. But Greeneyes is kind of a flashback to a different time in SRB2's history. So he plays quite differently to most modern characters. And then obviously Kamek and Mario, completely different, just hugely different characters. Yeah, it looks like he's immune to spikes. That's interesting. There we go. And we'll just glide over to the bridge. And we'll glide down here. We can use it multiple times in one fall as well, which is good. Go. Easy mode, easy mode. Easy, easy, easy. I do like him being dragged around by the machines, though. That's fun. It's like a toy in the washing machine. Just getting dragged around against his own will. Like, look at that. That's hilarious. Well, you know that one game where you had to, like, beat up a doll? I can't remember what it was called, but it's like you could blow him up and all the rest of that. Like, you could just fire rocket launchers and throw knives and stuff at him. It was just like a violent thing, just stress relief, I think it was intended for. It's kind of like that. Like, come on, Metal Sonic. Can't let me beat you. I'm a horrifying little doll and you're a metallic assassin. Just won't look good. It seems like it protects you from all damage. That's nice. I mean, I suppose that is its job. It is A-sealed. Wouldn't make much sense calling it that if it let things hit you, but I don't know. Again, I'm very tired. I'm not thinking particularly straight here. What's the lore for this doll anyway? Basically, back in Sonic R, every character had a second, like, unlockable secret character that if you put in a certain input while you're playing as them, would act as a new character. Because obviously this was way back when there weren't that many Sonic characters. So Sonic obviously had Metal Sonic, Eggman had Egg Robo. Can't remember who Amy had. I don't remember who replaced Amy. But obviously Tails and Knuckles didn't have anyone, so they made up a Metal Knuckles and a Tails doll for their replacements. They didn't really have any storyline. It was just that Tails doll in particular was like just really creepy. because he was kind of dragged around like he was on strings and all the rest of that. He didn't have any like running animations, he was just kind of dragged along by the gem on his head. So ended up making a ton of creepypastas about him in like the noughties and the tens, and that's a lot of why he's as popular as he is nowadays. Just because people thought he looked creepy. I don't think he actually has any story at all in the games. Like in any of the games, even in Sonic R, I don't know whether Sonic R has any endings. Like anything, any storyline at all. That's in my backlog playthroughs as well. So we'll be playing that at some point. And we'll probably be seeing Tails Doll there. Oh, I can't remember who replaced Amy. That's annoying me. Yeah, who replaced Amy? Eggman had Egg Robo. No, Knuckles had Metal Knuckles. Sonic had Metal Sonic. Tails had Tails Doll. I can't remember who Amy had. Oh yeah, and then also Sonic had Super Sonic as well. Because obviously he's special. He gets these things. All of that and it only dealt 1 damage. Ridiculous. I comboed you around half the arena. You can't... It's not fair. Nope. I don't know what his AI does. Sonic is Metal Sonic, Tails is Tails Doll, Knuckles is Metal Knuckles, Amy is Egg Robo, and Eggman's Super Sonic. There you go. That's how it's divvied up then. There you go. So yeah, he does have an interesting history, but he's definitely more well known for the fan content than he is for anything in any games. With all of the creepypastas. So he was pretty popular for a long time. I remember seeing a lot of stuff about him on YouTube and the like at that point. But no, he doesn't really do anything in the games. I think he has appeared in a few IDW comics, where he's basically just played as being creepy. I think, if I remember correctly, Tails is kind of annoyed because he's like, well, why did you make like a cool Metal Sonic and a cool Metal Knuckles, and then I'm stuck with a Tails Doll. Kind of screw me over here, Eggman. But I don't think he does much in that either. I don't think he's ever been like the main villain of anything, even in the comics. I think he's always just like there. If he is around, he's never like the most important guy there, you know. Whereas Metal Knuckles has had his little storylines, and also he does keep getting remade. Like there are a lot of Metal Knuckles, but there's only ever been Tails Doll and then maybe arguably Tails Man in Artsy. But that's not really a metal version of the character, that's just that character being turned into a robot by Dr. Wily. Ah, speaking of Mega Man, I need to try out the Sonic Racing Crossroads stuff. I've got a pretty big list of stuff I haven't looked at yet. So like I haven't played since, I think the last time I played was when Knights was added. So all of the characters since then I haven't seen yet. So I need to try those guys out. Right, I'm not going to fight Eggman. Don't have the time for it. Before we finish, we're going to do what we usually do, and we're going to do a little roulette wheel to check everyone, see what we do next time. I think I'm only going to put on 3 characters for now, and then maybe I add 2 more if I'm feeling up for it on the next stream.
Bye bye bye.
Oh yeah, there you go. Mario Brothers have that, so just give me a sec to get that that roulette wheel up, and we'll see what we do next time. Gotta love gambling. Yes, we do. Right, stream 10. We need the roulette wheel. roulette. Yes, there it is. If I put on the window capture. Nope, it does that every time. There we go. Right. We have 70 characters remaining. Need to speed it up because I am, with Ruse and the 2.3 video doing well, I'm actually getting closer to 5k sooner than I'd like. But next time we have Eggette. Interesting, to be honest. He's just kind of a reskin of Egg Pack, but that's fine. That's interesting. We have, let's see, Metal Sonic 3.0. We got very close to modern Sonic there, but no dice. Metal Sonic 3.0, and finally, who we got? Delta characters. I.e., with most of the character packs, I've been separating them into separate characters, but with how Delta characters is designed, I think that's probably going to be just one listing on that mod ranking. So like in Azuma and Aether, I've been ranking separately, but because Susie, Noelle, is it Susie, Chris and Rousey, because they're so interlinked to each other in a way that all the others aren't, I think they'll probably be just placed down as one slot. But yeah, that'll be interesting. Delta characters is always someone I've struggled with, so it'll be interesting to see. I think this is the third time I'll be trying them out now, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But anyway, thank you all, you guys, for tuning in. There will be a new episode of the Castlevania 2 playthrough coming out within a few hours. In that one, we go to Brahms Mansion and collect Dracula's eyeball. Yes, Dracula's eye. Trying to get through those, you know, at a decent pace. I'll try to do more of these streams more regularly for the next couple of weeks, but again, I'm feeling really tired at the moment, so hopefully that wears off for next time. But as for now, thank you for tuning in, thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed, and ciao.